This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
It is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. Sorry, I was digging the intro music. Well, we want to welcome. Yeah, I'm just getting bobbing my head a little bit. I'm about to start freestyling, but I don't think people are ready for that just yet. They haven't got. I don't think they know me like that. T. You know me like that, but I don't think they know me like that just yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me. I want to welcome you into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T. Also, you guys have been rocking with us and getting, and just doing everything that we asked you to do. So we want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we are free and available wherever you download your podcast. And please make sure, leave us a 5-star review. Good Lord. So everybody else can find out about us and they can tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We got a lot of good stuff on board for today. I know I say it every day, but I mean it every time I say it. And I'm going to continue to say it. So we're going to start off with the Atlanta Falcons. They went 7-10 last year, but is it possible they could be better and have a worse record? Whew, that might make your head blow off. And the Georgia Bulldogs. Do they really need Arch Manning? And in for the culture? Man, these NBA playoffs, man. All I got to say is, but before we get there, the Atlanta Falcons, like I mentioned earlier, they went 7-10, and they've added a lot of guys to this roster. Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith have talked about they like guys that have chip on their shoulders with something to prove. And so it seems like they're trying to really establish the culture. So I think the main thing for me, though, T, is when you're trying to establish a culture, that means you got to get rid of some folks, right? Yeah. You kind of got to move some things around and get your guys in the building. So with that being said, they may take a hit, on that win-loss record. Yeah. Is it possible that they could be better? And have a worse record? Do you think that's even possible? Let me say that much. Let me ask you that.
Yeah, I absolutely loved when you posed this question to me today, because I do believe that you can be better even if it doesn't show in the win-loss column. So what might that look like, for example? Well, anything would be an improvement over 18 sacks last year as a collective.
Yes, Lord.
Okay, so if you get into the 25 range of sacks, if you will, or even we have a double-digit sack person. I'm just going to say
yes.
Person.
Yes. There we go. Yeah, sack person. Yeah.
Sack specialist. If we have that would
sack
be
specialist.
Yeah, I know. You
could have gone somewhere.
At this point, they get 10 on this roster for real. So that would be an improvement, right?
Yes.
Or if you had, and again, I know this is kind of big picture or just, kind of throwing something out there, like in the ethos that may not be a possibility. But at this point, even 1,000-yard rusher. When is the last time you had 1,000-yard back for the Falcons? That might be an improvement. Why? Because that would show you that you're now in position to have a fully functioning offense and not rely so much on your passing game, which should set you up for better success next year. Because again, Jarvis, we're not just taking the 2022 season in like this and putting it sort of on its own shelf, if you will. I think you have to look at it in terms of, by definition, and look, Jarvis and I by no means are about giving out trophies and just saying, hey, good job. Nah, that's not what the show is about. That's not what these people are about. However, there are times when you can see a line of demarcation that tells you were better than you were last year, that puts you in position to be even better next year. And those are two maybe low-hanging fruit areas that I see that could make them better, even if the record doesn't dictate. Because remember, just like we talked about on our Tuesday episode, as far as the paper goes right now, that's all we have is what's on paper. Last year's, you're looking at the strength of schedule and doing a comparison contrast to last year versus this year, and that might actually dictate fewer wins.
No doubt about it. And also another factor that I believe that is going to add to that being better, like you talked about being better for next year. Mm-hmm. And if this 2022 draft class has brought in a lot of excitement. A lot of, like you said, a lot of these guys have very similar mindsets, right? You know, that chip on the shoulder, something to prove. You know, guys like Drake London, and obviously, with Arnold Ebiketie, there were some doubters as to whether his level of talent can transfer to the NFL. So it's just a lot of, and Tyler Algier, moving around in different positions and not really being settled at that running back position just yet. So I think they're, with all these guys proving that they belong. If you see that on the field this year, I think it's gonna make them look better, tremendously better. Let me say that, because like you said, if you got an AK out there, that's not a good word to use, Arnold Ebiketie, to be in a space where he gets 7 or 8 sacks. You see D'Angelo Malone get 5 or 6 sacks. You know what I'm saying? So you got those guys combining for 13 to 14 sacks. You're like, okay, we almost said our number and it's only 2 guys. You know what I'm saying? So that would signify that, oh yeah, this team is going to be good. They're good right now, just by they're hitting on that draft class. You're getting that instant gratification on the pick, in the first year, and I think if you see that, you're going to say, okay, this team is better, but they might not win more games, but they're definitely better. All right, T. Now we've had a lot of conversations about Dion Jones, as to whether or not he's going to be on the roster. Is he going to get traded? Are they going to cut him? Are they worried about the salary cap implications? And it seems like this year they don't give a crap about it. Like, it is what it is. We're going to take our licks this year and lick our wounds and come back next year. We'll be ready to roll. So, but with the news of Deion Jones being out for the offseason because he had a procedure to clean up his shoulder and everything like that. So he's going to be out for, for the offseason. Question now is, are you going to be able to trade him now? Does he have any trade value whatsoever? And on the other side of that, if you're going to cut him, don't you have to wait until he's actually semi-healthy before you do that? You know what I mean? So I think this is going to speed up the process. I think the Falcons are already there as far as him being moved off this roster, but I think this is going to speed up the process.
It very well may. And it's interesting because one of the things I pointed out, and sometimes, hey, we're human, so we have blind spots, if you will, but most of us scratched our head at the end of last season, even though Dion Jones kind of trended up at the end of the season. But when the season was done, most of us scratched our head wondering, what in the world happened? Because that wasn't Debo that we had all come to know and love, as far as his ferocity and his ability to just get after it. So now you fast forward and there's a little cleaning out of, that shoulder with some off-season surgery. And it's like, maybe possibly that could have been a part of it. But then you go back to a report that came out that we talked about from Jeff Schultz at The Athletic about the viability, or lack thereof, of Debo being a contributor or adding something for the Falcons on and off the field, and that it's inevitable that he was going to be moved. So I said, wow, this goes back to what we talked about yesterday, and whether that's not just a possibility or probability. This might complicate things ever so slightly. You never know. You really never know, because only they know kind of what they've been working as far as, backdoor deals, if you will. But I think, like we said yesterday as well, it would make it that much more intriguing to the possibility of this team having like someone like a Rashaan Evans being there as a veteran to help that linebacker core along.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because, like you said, we saw the red flags, right? All the signing of the inside linebackers, a guy you talked about yesterday, as far as thinking him possibly coming in and making a big impact in his first year, Rashaan Evans. And like I said, he's been in the Dean Pease's defense before. So, all of those guys, and then what they already had on the roster as far as inside linebacker. Like, you drafted an inside linebacker in the second round. So it was just too many droppings leading us to the cheese, right? So now the cheese has come out, and it just kind of like, okay, all right, this is what it was. This is how it's going down. This is what they were preparing for. You knew they were preparing for something. You didn't know exactly what. And I think the news of Deion Jones having that procedure, this is the cheese, and this is what they were preparing themselves for. Now, the Braves are preparing themselves for a back-to-back wins. Like they got it done last night. They had 2 consecutive wins. Like, are we talking about a win streak? The Braves win 8-4 last night. Austin Riley hitting home runs. Dansby hitting home runs. Like, he's just out here balling. Our boy William Contreras doing his thing. Like, is this? I know we've asked this question so many times. But is this it? Is this finally it? You know what the it is. I ain't got it. I don't even have to say it.
You don't have to say it, right? We get excited. And the one thing that we never give credit to the Braves for is the fact that they don't have like a 3-game losing streak, right?
Right.
But nor did they have a 3-game win streak. So we
Right.
hope to
Exactly.
we hope to get on that side of it tonight with this win in this series finale. But boy, oh boy, last night you really had to love what you saw in every instance, except of course Charlie Morton. A little bit of a rough outing for him. But other than Charlie Morton, I don't even want to get parked there, Jarvis, because there was way too much to see that was positive. Everything from what you said. Austin Riley, William Contreras, and one guy that we may kind of overlook because maybe it's been that quiet consistency. But when you're having a 3-for-4 night, one of those is a home run, and you are still out there being showing your Gold Glove candidate status every night, we should give flowers to Dansby Swanson because it just the consistency is just there. And then one more person, and we know we could probably talk about him a little bit tomorrow because we're going to see maybe if he returns, maybe if he switches his places in terms of where he is with the pitching staff as the Braves approach this Marlins series this weekend. Darn, Spencer Strider.
Good Lord.
Spencer Strider.
2 2/3, no hits, no score, no runs, 5 strikeouts, just making cats look like they some little leaguers out there when it's trying to swing at that pitch and catch up to them. But like another little nugget for Dansby Swanson though, last 10 games, 385 batting average, 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. He's leading the team with hits with 2 outs. You know what I mean? So he is absolutely just killing it right now, and that's what you love to see from the local product. Coming up next, though, there is a big old prospect name that's been out there. Y'all have to go ahead and tell you, Arch Manning. We're going to talk about whether or not the Bulldogs even need to pursue this cat. That's next on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta.